So today in this video I will be talking about proofreading. So what is proofreading? Proofreading is basically identifying and correcting mistakes. So in CELPIP, your writing task 1 is writing to an email and task 2 is responding to a survey question. Now generally what happens when you start writing and when you are done with your writing, without bothering to check back your mistake, you move to the next question. And this is something where you are losing marks. So if your writing is at CLB 9, you might end up scoring 8. If you have written it at CLB 10, you might end up scoring 9 or 8. Why? Because you are not going for proofreading. So make sure proofreading is the final stage of your writing, and that will save minimum 1 level of your writing score. Okay, so how to do it and why it is important? It is extremely important. Why? Because once you start typing, there are so many things which are running around in your mind, and these are the very first you are reading the question, you are like basically typing, and once you are typing, your mind is super fast. Your mind start thinking about the next sentences, whereas you are still writing the previous one. So in this way, in this rush of typing, you might skip a few words. You might miss typing SES somewhere. You might go wrong with punctuations. So whatever these silly mistakes you are making, altogether they are going to cost you a lot, and you will not be able to understand that why you are scoring less. Okay, so this is the most important part of your writing. So proofreading, this is the last stage of your writing, and in this video I'll be talking about what are the things you should proofread before finally submitting your writing. So this is about identifying. There are 7 parameters of proofreading. The very first is grammar. Once you are reading, make sure you check your grammar nicely. Second is your punctuation. Third is spelling, then formatting. 5 is word choice. 6th is sentence structure, and 7th is task fulfillment. So if you are keeping all such things in mind, whatever you will be writing, definitely you will be getting a good score, better than which we deserving. Okay, so I'll be explaining each and every parameter in detail, and once you watch this video, make sure you make notes nicely and you keep all that information in mind, and watch this video till end so that you won't be making these silly mistakes. So the very first is, let's talk about grammar. Once you are checking your writing, whether you have written it present tense, past tense or future tense, there are a few common rules for grammar, and these common grammar rules will always follow, which you might ignore. Okay, so the first rule is like is, am, are, was and were. So if you have written out of these words like is, am, are, was, were anywhere in the sentence, anywhere in your writing, so make sure you will not be using first form of verb after that. So is, am, are, was, were means you must use either the third form or first form of verb plus ing. So he is going, or might be cricket is played. So is, am, are plus third form or ing form of the verb. This is the grammar rule that must be followed everywhere. So if you have used first form after any of these, so that is going to be wrong every time. So once you are reading, make sure you change it quickly. The second we have is has, have and had. After these, there would be a compulsory third form of verb. So if you are using a verb, it must be the third form of verb only, irrespective, like you are writing it is in present, past, future. Don't think anything, because has and have, these both are there in present and this is in past. Okay, but don't consider anything for at the time of proofreading. Only one thing, that it must be the third form after that. Then the third is to plus first form. So wherever you are using to, and if there is a verb after that, it must be first form, irrespective you are writing in present or past. I have seen the candidate when they use to in past somewhere, so they start using second form, considering past is second form, but that's wrong. Okay, so it must be to plus first form wherever you write, present, past, future, irrespective. Use every time to plus first form. The next is for. If you are using for in any of the sentence and you are giving a verb after that, so it must be the ing form of the verb. So we use ing in first form always. We don't use ing in second form or third form. So ing form of the verb is after for. Another thing is that you need to check for these helping verbs like can, could, may, might, will, would or should. So if you have written these helping verbs anywhere, you must use first form of verb after that. Next is it. So if you have written it anywhere in the present tense, it must be first form of verb plus ses. So this is a very common mistake, students. When you write it, you don't use ses. It is like it show, it go, whatever you want to write, right? So it must be ses with first form of verb if it is in present tense. So it appears, it seems, it runs, whatever, but must be ses. The next is do, does or did. So whenever you use do, does or did, might be do not, does not, did not. So you must be using first form of verb after that. So again, this is a very common mistake that you make once you use did. So student have this intention, right? Did not went. He did not went there. So he did not went there. What is the mistake? Did is already representing your past tense. So you shouldn't be using past again. He did not go there. So after did, we use first form only. We do not use second form because did represent your past. Okay, so only first form after this. The next is one of. So whenever you use one of, after one of here you must use a plural noun. One of my friends lives in Australia. So one of my friends, not one of my friend. Okay, so one of the anything, one of my dresses. So one of is always out of plural. So here it should be many, one of many, not one of one. This is again a very common mistake. The next is singular subject. If your subject is single and you are writing it in present tense, make sure you must use first form of verb with s or es. Okay, so single subject means one. When you are talking about one particular person, a child, a man, a city, whatever it is, if it is a singular subject in present tense, it must be with ses. He goes. Okay, she sleeps. It laughs. S. And when the subject is plural, plural means many, more than one. When the subject is plural, we will be using first form of verb without ses. So if it is they go, not they goes. They goes will be wrong. They go. People follow, not follows. People follow the rules. Okay, so these are 10 grammar rules which are the universal one, and you must follow these things. If you have these things in your mind and you read your writing task that you have written quickly, you can correct all such mistakes. And if these mistakes you have made like 5, 10, 15 mistakes, obviously it's going to cost a lot at your final score. Okay, so this thing will help you save your score. Another thing, I'll talk about punctuation. Now some people think, or some students think, punctuation is not important, but let me be very clear with the thing that punctuation is again the important aspect. Why? Because you are writing for English. So this is your language exam. If this is not your language exam, you are writing any other exam in English language, then it is okay. Punctuation is not their domain. However, this CELPIP writing, now they are going to check your English only. Okay, so that is the most important thing. And then punctuation covers your comma, full stop, capital letters, small letters. So now I'll talk about capital letters, where to use capital letters if you are going to start a new sentence. After full stop, in new sentence, the first letter of that new sentence or the first letter of the word must be capital. So there are only two situations wherein we use capital. The very first is if this is the opening word of a new sentence, that must be capital. Generally students use capital letters after comma, but after comma we never use capital. It must be a small letter only. There is another situation when in the middle of a sentence we use capital letters, that is if you are giving a name of a person, that must be in capital, name of a city must be in capital, name of a college must be in capital. So if it is a name of anything, a person, a place, university, anything like a car model, anything, that must be in capital. Okay, another thing is that when you're talking about I for yourself, I'm going there. Okay, I agree. So that I would again be in capital. So only these are the situations wherein we use capital letters, otherwise we don't use capital letters anywhere else. Okay, and then full stop, make sure you use full stop nicely, make sure you use comma at the right places. So the appropriate usage of full stop and comma are again considered at the time of giving scores. Another thing we have is spelling. So this is the most important part. Why? Because in CELPIP writing you get a spelling help in your real exam. If your spelling is wrong, they will show you an error below the word like a red line, and once you have a right click on your mouse, by clicking or the right click on the mouse, it will give you the suggestion window. So you can just check which spelling you want to write and then you can fix it there. So you need not to be over concerned about spellings, but yes, if there is an error, you must fix it there. The next is formatting. Formatting is like writing the same ideas together and writing the different ideas might be in different paragraphs. So once you read it, you just see whether you have like clubbed all the similar ideas in the same paragraph and different ideas in different paragraphs or not. Then you have given a specific separate paragraph for introduction and a separate paragraph for conclusion. So this is the formatting. Introduction and conclusion must be the different paragraphs. Then in body paragraph also, you should be making like 2 to 3 body paragraphs instead of giving one paragraph only and writing everything together. Okay, so this thing overall shows the appearance of your task. The next is word choice. If you are targeting 9 or 10 in your writing, make sure your word choice should be appropriate. Instead of writing a very simple or basic word, you should change it. Now at the time of typing, you might not be able to understand your word choice, that you are writing simple words and all, but later on at the time of proofreading, whatever you have written earlier, you can delete it and you can write another word. Like let's say I have written important. So important again and again will not give me 9, 10. What I'll do is I'll delete important and there I'll write significant, crucial, vital. Okay, so these words can be written. Another thing is like instead of ask, I may ask, I can like write some other word, request, if it is needed, right? So request. Then instead of inform, like bring into your kind notice. Okay, so bring into your kind notice, request you, these kind of words, so you can replace it. So these things again help you. If you have written very simple words, delete them and just write another. Don't write poor, don't write good, don't write bad. Instead of good, you can write some other words, and these things can easily be done at the time of proofreading, because at the time of writing is your focus is on writing, not on the beauty of that response. Another thing is your sentence structure. If you think you have written very simple sentences, so you can use these connectors, conjunctions, and you can write complex sentences. You can use not only but also, then you can use either or, neither nor, as soon as well as. Then instead of like using unnecessarily and, you can use moreover, furthermore, on top of that, in addition. Then instead of but, you can write while, whereas. Okay, therefore, hence. So these kind of words will improve the level of your writing. So make sure you check sentence structure, and whenever it is needed, you can upgrade your sentences. And the last is task fulfillment. Task fulfillment is you need to keep checking, in fact, while writing also and the time of proofreading, just to ensure that whatever that the question is asking for, whatever the demand of the question is, whether you have fulfilled the demand of the task or not. Okay, so just keep checking again whatever the bullet points are or whatever are there, whatever is the requirement of the question, whether you have fulfilled all that requirement or not. If you still find something is missing, you can just quickly add 1 or 2 sentences in order to achieve 100% task fulfillment. Okay, so this is all about proofreading, and I'm pretty sure if you watch this video, if you understand what I want to teach you in this particular lesson, will help you save minimum 1 band of your writing, and you can definitely improve your score. If you have any doubt in whatever I have taught you, you can just write there down in the comment section and I'll be replying all your queries. Okay, so keep learning with me. All the best.